Eviction laws. What the heck are they, and how do eviction laws work? That's today's video. Let's dive in. Hey, I'm Clayton Morris, the founder of Morris Invest. I've rehabbed hundreds of homes, placed tenants in many properties throughout the many years that I've been doing this. And so today we're going to talk about eviction laws. What the heck are they? How do we navigate the murky swamp of an eviction process? You're going to have one eventually if you are a rental investor. It's going to happen. I don't care if you're in A-class neighborhoods or D-class neighborhoods. If you have 40, 50 properties, or even if you have 5 properties, it may happen to you at some point. So you need to know how this stuff works. So today we're going to dive into all of that. So the eviction law process. One thing you need to know is that, first of all, it really can differ from state to state. And so if you're in a particular state that is favorable for landlords, then it's going to be easier for you to go through the eviction process. Now, I have a whole video right here on the channel about how to look at the differences between landlord-friendly states and states that are not so landlord-friendly when you're investing. So if you're in a non-landlord-friendly state, a place like California or New Jersey or New York, those types of places, it can take a long time to go through the eviction process. The person's not paying their rent, and yet you're not able to get them out of the property. It's taking forever to get them out of the property. That's the law, unfortunately, for you as a landlord. So today, let's dive into what is eviction law. Well, first, you have to understand that you cannot have an eviction process until you've ended the tenancy. The tenants in the property are still living there. You must give them written notice that you are ending their ability to rent from you. Now, in order to evict them from the property, that's when we start the eviction process. Now, an eviction is simply a lawsuit. I'm suing you to get you out of my property. How does that process work? It's different in state by state by state. Every state has their different ways of doing it and how those papers are served and the way in which those are written up. So I'm not going to get bogged down in every state's details about how you write those papers up. But first, as a landlord, you need to let them know that you're ending their tenancy. That's number one. Then you usually go to eviction court, you file the paperwork, and usually if you're working with a property management company, the property management company is going to handle all of this for you. And usually it's about $150, depending on your city, to file an eviction lawsuit with the court. You go to court, you meet with the judge, and you file and you say this person hasn't paid, we want them out of the property, they haven't paid their rent on time, they haven't paid for 3 months, we serve them with the information about ending their tenancy, and if you're in a landlord-friendly state, that judge is going to say, great, case closed, sheriff, help them get their stuff out of the house, move it out on the street corner by Friday, or it's going to be thrown in the trash. And that's how it happens. If you're not paying rent and you're a deadbeat tenant, you can be kicked out pretty quickly. But now, let's dive into some of the subtleties of eviction laws. Ready for this? Let's dive in. Now, to file an eviction, there are usually 3 types of ways that you can file an eviction. There are 3 reasons that you can ask someone to leave. There are 3 notice for terminations with cause. The most common is going to be they're not paying, right? Pay rent or quit. Pay rent or quit notices. And when you file a pay rent or quit notice, that is a cause for them to be moved out of the property. They haven't paid their rent. It's pretty obvious. Get out. But many states have a little bit of a leniency on the time. So usually rent is due on the 1st of the month, and most landlords will give you until the 5th of the month. That's because that's state law. They typically have 3 to 5 days in order to make sure that they're getting that rent payment in on time. And even some landlords, you'll find, will offer incentives that if you pay on the 1st of the month, we're going to give you a $25 food gift card at the local grocery store. Things like that. It encourages tenants to pay on time every month. Once you get past that 5-day window, though, all bets are off, and now the state law is coming down on you. The second type of reason that you could file an eviction notice is called a cure or quit notice. And that's typically a violation of the rental agreement in some capacity. For instance, having pets in the property. Pets that you didn't know about and were not authorized, and suddenly you do a site visit to the property and notice that there's a cat in the property. This actually happened to me. I actually had a cat when I shouldn't have, and I didn't really pay much attention to my rental agreement when I lived in Los Angeles a number of years ago, and I had a cat with my girlfriend at the time. And well, let's just say the landlord came by, saw the cat sitting there in the sliding glass window of the slider, and was sort of smiling at the landlord, sort of waving with his paw. And I got a notice in the mail saying you have to remove the cat, or you're going to have to move out. So what happened? I ended up having to give the cat to one of our friends, and then I later moved and was able to get the cat back. So there you go. That is a reason. That is what's known as a cure or quit notice. If you violate anything like that, it could be a pet clause, maybe you're making excessive noise, so excessive noise violations, those types of things. So you want to make sure that those things are also kept regularly checked up upon if you're a landlord. And the third reason that you can file for an eviction is called an unconditional quit notice. Now these are the harshest ones of them all, and they usually are for repeat offenders. You've repeatedly told them to turn down the music, you're annoying the neighbors, you've repeatedly warned them about the cat, you've repeatedly told them to pay their rent on time, and they haven't, and now you've got a laundry list of reasons for you to boot them out of the property. And sometimes it can include other things like being late on the rent on more than one occasion, damaging the property. They could have had parties, cabinets have been smashed, carpet has been trashed. You walk in and do a site visit, and you're like, holy smokes, what did you do to my property? And that's a reason for an unconditional quit notice. Those are the typical terms of an eviction process. Remember, first you'd have to file to end the tenancy on the property, and then secondly you would file the eviction lawsuit. Serve the tenant with the eviction notice. Usually you file that at the courthouse or through a lawyer, depending on your process, or your property management company, if they've got a great property management team in place, which we always do with our properties. Then you of course want to make sure that they are handling that process, which they do. They go down to the courthouse, they file the paperwork, and it usually only costs a few $100s. That is the eviction law process. It can be a little scary, it can be a little unnerving, and no one wants to think about having an eviction in one of the rental properties. But I've got news for you. If you are a rental investor and you're making passive income and you're creating legacy wealth for you and your family, you're going to have an eviction at some point in time. It's just going to happen. Deal with it. It's business. Because think about the broader, longer picture of your rental investing strategy. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and we'll see you back here. We publish videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, everyone, at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So I'd love for you to subscribe. Check in on the channel regularly. We've got tons of great videos here and playlists to help you to go out there to become a real estate investor. If you're also ready to jump on board and become a rental investor, and you'd like to pick up a property and have it totally done for you from soup to nuts, go ahead and book a call with our team at Morris Invest. The link is below in the description, and we'll take care of you. That's what we do. We'll see you next time, everyone, with another video. Until then, go out there, take action, and become a real estate investor. We'll see you.